All right, welcome back to another Omni Garage video. So today's a little bit different. We haven't got Glenn beside me here. He's behind the camera today. We've got Chris again. What we thought we'd do today, while we had the opportunity of having the car here with us, is we talk through some of your pros and cons of your ownership. So walk us through, what have we got here?
So as we said in the original video, this is a 2020 Fiesta ST.
Yep.
It is New Zealand new. We only get the ST in New Zealand. These are very popular in the UK. They've been around since late 2019.
Yep.
This specific shape, the Fiesta itself's been around for a lot longer. But in the UK, you can buy the 1 litre Eco to the 1 litre Sport to the ST, and then there's the ST1, ST2 and ST3, all the different trim levels.
We only get that top variant.
We only get the ST3, yeah. So this is registered as an ST3 in New Zealand.
Okay, and what's the model year? So it's registered
2020 model year.
2020, but this isn't the facelift. There was another one that came out after this,
So there's a 2022/23 facelift.
Okay.
Which they ditched the Recaro seats, which we'll cover off soon, and made a few changes to the front.
Yep.
Gave it a tiny bit more power, but nothing to write home about. It's still very much the same car. And in my opinion, it's a downgrade in styling.
Okay.
So
downgrade in styling, it's particularly around the front here, right? Is this one of the
that's right.
This is one of the downsides, do you think, to owning a newer car, and this is a pro for you on this?
Yeah, so this part here with the smaller grille with
Yep.
the little kind of angry curves in it, with the badge up here. So this has been a styling mark of the Ford Focus and the Fiesta since probably 2012.
Yeah, they've moved that down now on the new
Yeah,
ones,
so they've made the badge, they've lifted up this angle here so it's more square on the front, and they've stuffed this right in the middle. It looks like a Ford Transit or a Ford Ranger, that same big badge in the middle.
Okay.
It doesn't do it for me. It loses that kind of nimble hot hatch kind of rounded front and becomes a little bit more stocky.
You daily drive this car, right? Well,
That's right.
You could call it
I
daily
weekend drive it, but it's my only car, so
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm going somewhere, this is me. Yeah.
Okay, and you have driven at about 3,000-ish K.
3,000 kilometers since.
Chris is probably pretty well equipped. I think 3,000 K is enough to have some pretty opinionated thoughts on what you do like and what you don't like about the car. So
I've had a decent amount of cars, thankfully, in my past that I can compare it to all sorts of different vehicles.
Yep.
But yeah, the reason for buying this, as Glenn will know, I used to have an MX-5, an NB MX-5. It sat in storage for 2 years while I was overseas. While I was overseas, I ended up driving the 1 litre Sport of this in Scotland through the Highlands, and it was a manual as well. And I thought, this is great. I'm going to go back to New Zealand and buy one. When we got home, got in contact with Ford. They say we don't get the 1 litre Sport. If you want one, you're getting the top of the range.
Okay.
And back then I was like, do I want to spend $35,000-$40,000 on a hot hatch? But then this one came along, and it was secondhand, so I'm the second owner of this. It had 13, maybe 14,000 Ks when I bought it, and it had done a long trip through the South Island with the previous owner. So I got this at a better price, which is great for me.
So when we're thinking about some of the things you like about this car, rattle me off a bit of a list. Take me through, why would someone enjoy owning this car?
Okay, I mean, the most obvious thing when you buy a hot hatch is it's nimble. It's made for cornering. You're not gonna have a great, well, you're gonna have an okay time. You're gonna have a great time in straight line speed. It's 0 to 100 from factory 6.5.
It's quick.
It is a 6-speed manual, so it's up to you to get the launch right. If you don't get the launch right, you're not gonna see anywhere near a 6.5. It does have launch control. I've never used it because it literally just holds the revs at 3,000 and you dump the clutch.
Okay.
And you can kind of do that yourself anyway, just by feathering the throttle.
Yeah.
Being that it is front wheel drive, you do get axle tram if you launch it too hard, so you'll feel the full front wheels. It's got a limited slip too, so both wheels are just chonking at the concrete and you feel it shuddering through the whole car.
Okay.
It's actually, the first time I did it, it was actually quite scary. I thought I'd broken something.
Yep.
It's that harsh, the launch is so harsh. And that's a popular, I mean, that's a common, I guess, trait among cars this size.
Yep.
The Hyundai i20N, which is this direct competitor, the exact same thing, axle tram, bang, 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 bang when you're taking off, just shudders. But I mean, they're built for it. I mean, they make rally cars out of these, so they're built tough.
Built to do
Ford
that.
built tough. There you go, a little plug for Ford there.
Now, you mentioned earlier to me, a pro for you around this as well was the fact that you've got quite a bit of power, but the fuel economy is
That's
fantastic.
right, yeah. So 200 horsepower, just under 300 Newton meters of torque from the factory. It gets up and goes, but if you pop it in economy mode, you put it in normal, and you're cruising on the motorway, it's a 3-cylinder, but it'll drop down to 2. So it'll run on 2 cylinders, and I get roughly 5.4 to 6 litres per 100 if I'm being nice, which is fantastic. That's including the Kaimais, which is a mountain range we come through to get to here.
It's not bad for, I mean, air quote, performance car, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. If I'm going on a spirited drive, I can still get under 9 litres per 100, which when you think about it, when you're really on it, that's pretty good still.
Yep.
But yeah, only I guess one of the cons is that it'll take 95, but it's happier on 98, as most performance cars
you're running
are.
this on 98?
It's currently on 98, yeah. I ran it on 95 for a while because I was just doing around town stuff. But inside I know that it should have 98, so I want to treat it.
Glenn behind the camera as well always runs 98.
Got to treat it to a bit of 98. Yeah, keep it happy. All right, so interior of the car, like I said before, Recaro seats. We'll get a little bit more into that. So first of all, when I open the door here, you'll notice this little guard comes out. Now that's great for me not hitting other cars, but it doesn't stop other cars from hitting me. So if you pop it there, it disappears and it pops out again.
And that's on all
all 4 doors, that's right.
That is so cool.
Just a quirky little feature, but something that, you know, a lot of drivers will appreciate.
You don't need that, but every other car in the universe
I know, that's right. I park on the other side of the car park, and then magically someone else is parking next to me, even when I went out of my way to be as far away as possible. But I'm sure most people who love their car feel that way. You know, you can't get away from the general public when it comes to car parks. Right, so we have a look at the seats. So like I said before, Recaro seats. I'm not sure if you can get right in there, but you can see they're quite heavily bolstered for quote unquote a hot hatch. Very tight. It takes a little while to get used to how tight they are, and it's definitely a big pro for me. They hold you in very nicely. The later facelift model actually went away with the Recaro seats, and Ford built their own Ford Performance seat. Not a fan of it visually. I've never sat in one. They're apparently more adjustable.
Oh, well, this is nice, right? Proper
but this
Recaros.
this is that sweet spot, I'd say, of limited adjustability. You've only got up, down, back, forth, and a little bit of lumbar support. Other things interior wise, so like I said before, 6-speed manual. This one's I've optioned, well, I actually went out and purchased the Ford Performance carbon fiber shifter, which doesn't come factory, but it just ties in with the rest. It's got the little ST on it, much like the steering wheel does.
It's a nice clean interior.
It is, yeah. Materials for the most part are high quality. So it's got the leather wrapped seat. You've got these are option Ford Performance floor mats, which are nice. Usually it comes with no floor mats, like a lot of manufacturers are doing these days. You got to pay extra for everything. The only thing that I don't love about the interior are these hard plastics on the doors. So the top of the dash has got the soft touch, but in here it's just your classic plastic. Easily scratches, has a bit of texture so you can kind of hide it, but it's a high spot here for when you get in, you just rub your shoe on it or whatever. You'll actually catch in that shot too the B&O sound system. So again, for a tiny hot hatch, this has an 8-speaker B&O sound system, which is quite impressive. It's got surround sound, all that kind of stuff, along with your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. No digital dash in this, although the facelift does. I mean, one of the cool features of the new one would be the digital dash, but you've got a decent, I think it's roughly an 8-inch screen there, and a small digital screen in between the two gauges. There you go, all your little intros for Ford Performance and all that jazz. Ford Performance on the door cards, ST, Recaro. Funnily enough, this doesn't actually have a Fiesta badge on it. If you don't know what it is, it's a Ford ST. That's how it displays. Nowhere in the car does it say Fiesta. In fact, the only place it does say Fiesta is on the Regio sticker.
Yeah, you've just got
but that's
right
what you
here.
get.
Your only badge, isn't it?
It doesn't tell you anywhere in the car. There's nothing that even remotely mentions Fiesta, which I kind of like, because I mean, Fiesta's a cute little name, you know, like it means party. So it's always been a fun car, and it's still a fun car to me, but it's a little bit more grown up, I suppose.
It's coming around the back of the car here. This exhaust.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting on startup, right? Like your cold starts a bit.
Yeah, so it starts off, even if you put it in sport mode and start it, it'll start on cold with the valve closed.
Okay.
So it's 2 exhausts and there's a valve on one side.
Yep.
So it'll start, even if you put it in sport, it'll start closed.
Sounds quite muffled.
Takes like 2 or 3 seconds, then the valve will open, it gets nice and deep. All through cold start, and even probably until you're maybe a third up on the temperature for the engine, it won't do anything interesting. It's just nice and low. Then when you get that cold start turn off, you get that dead silence, you know, it just cuts that cold start sound. But then once you get it a little bit warmer, you start getting pops and bangs to the exhaust. So every gear, bang, 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 which I find is great. It's like the modern equivalent of the blow-off valve. If you think of the 2000s, everyone had their blow-off valve going.
This has an interesting turbo noise though.
Yeah. I mean, I can start it up for you and you can have a listen. I think you heard it in the last video a little bit.
We did when you were moving it in and out of the garage.
Yeah.
It's got a. Show us the startup for the exhaust.
This isn't cold right now, so we'll see how we go. So that's with the normal mode, and then if I pop it to sport, there we go.
So that's valves open now.
That's valves open. This is probably a mid-cold start. It doesn't sound this loud if it's been warm for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it will die off in a minute, but this is how I would like it to sound all the time. This to me is a good.
Is there a way that you can override that then to make it sound like this all the time?
There might be. I think. See, there you go. So now it's dropped back. That's normal idle, which is very quiet.
It is quiet.
A big change, really.
That would be a negative for me on this car. I don't know about you, but the fact I can't control that and have it
Yeah,
in the exact mode that I want all the time.
it's just that cold start, you know, like all cars have a cold start. It's just that if you force this into sport mode straight away, which is happy to do as long as you're not revving the guts out of it, it's fine. It's just opening that valve up. It does have a nice start, but it does die away after, what was that, 30 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Once it's warm, it will pop and bang. I can see if it will now. We drove here, so it's not cold. But we'll see what we get. You ready? There you go. Just to clarify, I've done nothing to this. This is how it came from the factory. I haven't changed intake boxes. I haven't done anything. This is just the way Ford decided that it should sound, which is great.
Yeah, I like that. For a little 3-cylinder car, I think
it's amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty interesting.
The thing about a 3-cylinder is, at the end of the day, it's half a V6. You're going to get a similar sound to a V6. It's not going to sound like a 4-cylinder. It's never going to sound like a 4-cylinder. So I've talked about some of the pros of the Fiesta ST. So I'll cover off a few cons. I guess they're quite picky cons. Nothing's terrible. Nothing has broken. Nothing has caused me any issues. Nothing really annoys me about the car. It's just little niggly things, which you probably find with most cars. One of the things is every time I start the car, it pops up and tells me what seats have got the airbags like connected for, or if the seat belts are on. And you have to clear them all manually. Nothing will just disappear itself. You need to click through.
When you enter into the car, does it recognise that it's you? Like, is there like a profile set for you?
No, because it's manual seats, so there is no such thing.
It doesn't say, hello, Chris.
No, there's none of that.
You like to be on 23 degrees aircon.
Nah, none of that. Right. None of that. Everything like that is manual. So manual buttons, manual seats. It doesn't even remember what mode you left it in last time. So you start the car, it's back in normal.
Just resets back.
Yeah, even if you turned it off for a second, turned it back on, it's back to normal again, which is a bit annoying.
Taking you out of your driving modes.
Yeah, because what you're doing is every time you start it, you need to clear all those things that pop up, and then you need to change it to sport. Yeah. So it's just one more thing. I sit in the car park, start it up, make the changes, then I can pull away. Another pro/con, for me at the moment it's a con, is modifying this car. So because it's a 2020, Ford give you a 5-year warranty, which is wonderful. That's a great thing to have. However, you have to be very careful with what you do because you don't want to void that warranty.
Just like any new car.
Just like any new car, that's right. I want to jump on the Mount Tune website or the Revo website, order the plug-in tune, the intake, the exhaust, all the fun stuff, the short shifter. But I spoke to Ford about it.
Is it a 5-year warranty or up to a maximum K?
5-year unlimited warranty.
That's actually quite good.
Which is great, yeah.
Because most cars I go 5 years or 100,000.
That's right, yeah.
Like that.
So could you imagine for someone in the market for a car like this, who's going to use it as probably what a Fiesta is intended for, as the daily driver, to put a lot of Ks on, to and from work, around town. Can you imagine someone taking that car in at 5 years with 200,000 K on it?
Yeah, that's right.
Claim? Like, that's quite a good picture.
I've actually already made a few warranty claims on this. Nothing mechanical, all cosmetic. So when I bought it, there was watermarks under the headlight plastic, which is a bit of an oddity, but they replaced them, got brand new headlights from Germany, popped them in. There was an issue with the rear glass. There was like a point on the glass that just wouldn't gloss up. It was like a dull patch. So they replaced the rear window. And then on its pre-inspection, when it arrived in the country, the previous owner picked up that there was a scratch on the instrument cluster, but he never, so they ordered a new instrument, but he never came in to get it fitted. So when I bought the car and they were looking at the headlights, I mentioned it, and lo and behold, I got a phone call saying, hey, we've got that part sitting on the shelf here for you. It's been here for a year. We can happily install that for you, which was great for me.
So you've had no issues?
Yeah, great warranty from
yeah.
But I suppose the downside of that means that you can't do nice, cool
yeah,
parts
that's right.
do, you know?
So I was just saying to Glenn off camera before, I would like to make some changes to the intake, but the only thing that I can do is change the filter, because everything else, all the sensors connecting to it, if that piece that I put in failed, then they won't cover it under warranty.
K&N have a thing where they say that you can put a K&N filter in here and that won't void your warranty.
Yeah, so there's one that Revo make that's foam, so there's no oil, because the guys at the factory, or at the workshop said, if I use an oiled filter and that caused a failure on one of the sensors, that's not covered. But if I use a foam one, there's no oil in it, no problem.
Yeah, companies get a bit strange about oiled
They
filters
do,
and stuff.
that's right. I can also change the rear exhaust box, but if there's any faults with the valve on it, and I've moved the valve onto the new exhaust system because a lot of them support it, then I don't get my warranty claim for that.
So
either.
You're pretty much running the stock in your ownership, aren't you?
It's a stock of stock. Yeah, I don't plan to make any changes. I might go with the air filter just to see if it makes a difference. They're pretty cheap. I think they're about $60.
You might get a little change in note.
Yeah, it might get a little bit louder maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty loud from stock, as you heard. It's not exactly a subtle intake noise. Other cons, like I was saying before, with the axle tram, only when you're launching it hard do you notice it. Under all other conditions it's quite nice, but there is a piece that Mountune, Revo, Voodoo and a few other companies make that replaces the bushing that the back of the motor to the subframe, and it takes a lot of that movement out of the engine. When you do get that tram, it makes it stick to the ground a lot tighter. But the issue is it then transfers all that extra vibration into the cabin, so it's a bit of a trade-off on the whole noise vibration.
It sort of prevents the whole daily driving, nice feel to the vehicle. Now,
and a lot of people say it's tough to start with, but as soon as that bearing or that rubber bushing wears in, it's pretty much unnoticeable. But I'm just not that keen to find out at this point in time, so I'm not launching it hard. I'm not, it doesn't really bother me.
All right, so for someone who's in the market to buy one of these, let's say someone's going out, they're looking for this one here, not the facelift model. Okay. Give them a quick summary. What are they going to enjoy and what are they going to dislike about using this as their daily driver? Okay, so straight off the bat, if you're buying this, you want something that's fun, nimble, manual importantly. There's not many manuals around anymore. And to me, the features that you get in this for the price are out of this world. So I didn't mention earlier, but the seats are heated, the steering wheel is heated, and the windscreen is heated. Oh, made for cold climates.
Made for cold climates, yeah. I mean, these are built in Germany, unlike a lot of Fords. They do build the Fiesta ST, the Focus ST, and the Puma ST in Europe, in Germany. The other ones are made in Taiwan, I believe, the lower models. So you do get all that kind of cold weather stuff. You get the little warnings on the dash saying the road is frosty, all that kind of stuff, which is quite cool, but not exactly necessary in our climate. We're pretty lucky here. Why do you not want to buy this car? It's pretty understated in terms of styling. It's not shouty. If you look at the i20e and there's angles everywhere, it's quite an aggressive looking car. For me, that's not what I want. I think it's a bit too much. This suits me, but it might not suit everyone. I know Glenn's not a huge fan of the styling of these small cars.
I mean, I love all the features. You know, if I was buying this car, the things I'm gonna really like the interior. The Recaro seats are beautiful. That gearbox is quite nice as well. It's really notchy. I like the fact you've got your Michelin Pilot Sports. I mean, I think for a hot hatch, it ticks most of the boxes, right? You don't buy a hot hatch because you want a really aggressive car. You know, you don't buy a hot hatch if you want a lot of storage in your car as well.
Right,
it is going to be a really nimble thing. And to be honest, I think I could be quite happy sitting in the interior of this car driving it. For me, it's when I get to the outside, it just doesn't. I mean, I drive a Tesla Model 3, right? So I can't really talk here. It's quite a soft
They're both soft-looking cars.
Odd car, but for me, it's just not my taste from exterior-wise. So I think for me, that would be a con in it. Is like it ticks a lot of boxes.
I think you might like the two-door more. So there is a coupe version of this.
I like the Focus. I like the Focus RS. It's a bit bigger.
The RS,
the RS.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no RS anymore. The new model, the Focus now, you get an ST. And to be honest, I don't love the styling of that. I'd rather the styling of this because that's a bit square on the back, and it's not really for me. But this to me is a sweet spot. It's definitely grown on me. I mean, it's my car, so I'm almost obliged to love it.
You're going to be a bit biased. But I mean, you've definitely talked through a few things that are downsides to the car as well. But it sounds like a lot of those, there's reasons behind them, right? The aftermarket support. Well, there is aftermarket support.
There's a huge amount of aftermarket support. If you want to ring up the whole Mountune catalog or Revo catalog, I mean, go for it. You can get aftermarket Revo wheels. You can get intakes. You can get new turbos. You can get everything.
And your plans with this car? You're going to keep daily driving this for
I'm
a
going to
while?
keep daily driving it unless something very attractive comes along.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you earlier, I'm looking at the GR Corolla.
Yeah, your attractive and my attractive with cars is a little bit different.
Yeah.
GR Corolla, I mean, it's on trend, that car, right?
I think my tastes come from the driving experience.
Yep.
Like if it was all about looks, I would have a Maserati or something like that. You know, have something that's really beautiful to look at. I love Porsches, I love Ferraris.
Yeah.
Obviously, money's are very different. You know,
$40,000
car.
We're talking a service
$200,000 car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for practicality, I mean, hot hatch is easy to park, easy to store, fits in my garage beautifully. I can walk right around the whole car anytime. You know. 4 doors. I can take passengers if I need to. I've only had passengers in the back seat maybe twice.
Yeah, this car's
It'll be 3 today with Glenn, so lucky him. Although you might be in the back, we'll let him go in the front.
We'll
You've been in the front. But yeah, I mean, all in all, great car. Not a lot to complain about. The only little niggly things, like I said, is the screen stuff. It's got decent enough infotainment. It's got Sync 3. I know there's Sync 4 now, which comes on a bigger screen. But this has got your your Android Auto, your Apple CarPlay. It is wired. I know a lot of new ones are wireless. One of those things, if you plug it in to charge it anyway, what's the difference?
Yeah, I think this could be a good daily driver for someone.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Especially the fact if you're driving this around a main city, it's small, you can get it in car parks. I think that's right. Definitely a big advantage.
You don't see them around. I've seen probably 4 in my ownership. I think you've seen maybe 1 or 2.
1? 2. I've seen 2, yeah.
Which I like. It's a little bit more, you know, if you see it, if you know, you know. If you don't, it's just another car to you.
One of those cars, right?
Yeah, yeah. So people try it on. I've had a few people try it on and, you know, it's fun. They don't expect it. So,
no, they don't. Yeah. It's a bit of a sleeper.
It's a bit of a sleeper, yeah.
There we go. That's a bit of a look at what it's like to daily weekend drive.
Yep.
Ford Fiesta ST. So huge thanks to you, Chris, for coming over. Well, actually, probably big thanks to us for detailing this and looking after it for the last little while.
Yeah.
So again, if you haven't seen that video of the paint correction, the ceramic coating, go and check that out last week on the channel. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for coming over and sharing us your thoughts.
No worries.
Make sure you like the video, drop us a comment below, and Chris will be hanging out in the comments, so he'll come back to you if you've got anything specific that he didn't cover today. But that just about wraps it up. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for all of the latest content from Omni Garage, and we will see you guys in the next video.